Okay, yeah, I am recording.
Okay, sweet, fantastic. But before we get into some questions, we were wondering if you could do our fake schools uh like cheer along with us. So basically we sort of like we put our arms out like this and we say go Ducks, and then we do that.
Sure.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic. So we can do like on three. 1, 2, 3, go
Go
Ducks.
Ducks.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
You didn't
Thank you
steal
so
that
much.
from University of Oregon, did you?
I don't think so. I hope not.
If we did, we were not responsible, and that's all
yeah,
that really
you
matters.
can't prove that. So could you just tell us a little bit about your story running for city council?
Oh, how much time do you want me to take? Because I got a long story.
Tell us everything. We're
Yeah,
interested.
we're here. We're here all day.
Okay, well, I grew up here in Sierra Madre, went to elementary school at the old Sierra Mesa, which of course now is the middle school before they, that they rebuilt, and lived in the Lower Canyon for 10 years. My father grew up over on Victoria Lane back in the 30s, one of 12 kids in an 800 square foot house, if you can imagine that. And so then went to Arcadia High, then San Diego State. Please don't hold that against me. But it was a good time at San Diego State back in the 70s. Did lots of back then. Did lots of traveling around the U.S., around Europe, gaining life experiences. And then when I graduated from college, went to work in a family business that manufactured packaging materials. And so I spent 20 years in sales, marketing, management, running plants, running sales forces. And then we sold that business back in 1998, went to work for one of our big customers where I was the general manager of a large packaging distributor. And so I am now happily retired. I retired 8 years ago. I was going to be changing jobs, and I had 2-year-old twins, and I made the decision that, I was so blessed that I was in a position to be able to retire, and then to start a new career and miss my kids growing up. When you have your first kids at age 55, you don't want to miss anything. So that's when I decided to retire. So now that they're 10 and doing well at Sierra Madre Elementary, I've always dreamed thinking about getting into politics. In fact, as a college student about your age, I actually was very serious about politics, but I couldn't get behind any of the parties. So I was going to start my own political party, and I was going to call it the Renaissance Party. Now, of course, Renaissance means rebirth. So it was going to be the rebirth of logical thinking. And so that's what I hope to bring to the Sierra Madre City Council, is a strong management background based with logical and rational thinking, with no strong agendas, coming in. In other words, some people are, very like all in environmental, or some are all in business, or some are all in no development or development. To me, you got to look at it and make just what's the best decisions for our little town
here. Thank you. That's awesome. Could you sort of talk to us about how you think how well you think the city has responded to COVID, and if there's anything that you would sort of change around guidelines going forward, or sort of like your opinion on Sierra Madre's response?
Well, I think Sierra Madre has done, I really like the way the city has supported the local businesses, particularly the restaurants, because, it's been very difficult for them. And so, helping with the outdoor dining, facilitating, the street outdoor dining, I thought was a very good decision. This whole COVID thing is just a tough thing. If you follow on all the Facebook pages here in town, you get a real wide ranging opinion of mask, no mask, all that stuff. Well, my position is, I mean, when I'm in public and if I'm going to be near anybody, I wear a mask, whether I think I need it or not, to me, that's just good manners. It's being considerate because it is important to some people. And so I think we need to be considerate of our neighbors and be safe, so, and I've got an 89-year-old father who I take care of and, spend one day a week working, doing, all his stuff. And I don't want to bring it into him. So I've been very careful because, if he got it, that would not be a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So what are some ideas you have that will make the city government more accessible?
Well, it would be nice to finally, and I saw that they're bringing the city council meeting back. They're going to do it in the park next week. And I think that, having in-person meetings is so important because, this technology, I wish I'd bought Zoom stock. I mean, technology, has really made it possible to continue doing business. But it's still difficult to communicate, and I think a lot of people maybe aren't comfortable getting their questions or going to city council meetings online. And you got to call in with your questions and watch it on TV, and it's just not the way it should be. So I'm glad they're going outside, and I think that's a good first step in getting everybody back together.
Yeah.
Because the city is pretty transparent. You can go on the website and watch and see any meetings, any agenda. I mean, you can go back for years and see everything that's been done. So, I think that the transparency here has been pretty good.
Thank you. Yeah, we've also asked a lot of the other candidates about their vision for overseeing the monastery development project. I was wondering if you could sort of tell us your position and sort of goals on that.
Well, the perfect scenario would be nothing built there. I mean, that would be the big open space is wonderful, even though it hasn't been really utilized for anything. It would have been nice if it was more, public access, when it was the big, beautiful field.
Mm-hmm.
But, the monastery, it's their property and they're going to build something, and they need the money. So the city has this opportunity to kind of direct them or help, kind of get them into building what's best for the city. And I think it's it's up right above a residential area. I think it would be less intrusive to the city and the neighborhood for a residential project to be built at that site versus an institutional, a school, a nursing facility, or anything like that. So I tend towards the homes. I think the previous city council has done a reasonably good job of trying to limit that, to the 42 homes that they're talking about, and then getting the concessions for, the park that's going to be, paid for in perpetuity, and maybe some more space for access and trails. Now, nothing's in stone, and you really got to see the plans, because it's the details that really matter, and are the homes going to be priced to a point that doesn't make sense for the neighborhood, or, I mean, I think if they need to limit the size of the home so that it's not, we certainly don't want a McMansion type development up there. And so I think that's going to be real important that they follow all the rules and that are in town, as far as the design review process, things like that.
Absolutely.
What do you think sets you apart from other candidates?
Well, I think my long career in business, deal in the industry I was in, packaging, basically what you're doing is you spend all your time solving problems. people, their products are getting broke. They got to package them. They got to have a way to protect their products when they ship it. And so, that's all you do is figuring out how to solve problems and how to do it at the lowest cost. And then, how to make sure that the logistics all work for that particular customer. And so that mindset to me is a perfect mindset for a city government like this. You're dealing with problems that come up, issues that come up, and you got to, think on your feet and be able to just solve the problems at the best possible cost. Because that's the big challenge here in town is we have a limited income and lots of things to do with that income. We've got infrastructure issues and just, streets and water and primarily and with limited money. So it's got good decisions have to be made. And I think that's what I would bring to the table is good, logical decision making.
That's fantastic. Seeing as you're a longtime Sierra Madre resident, I was wondering if you could sort of tell us about something maybe that you would want to be able to bring back to Sierra Madre that has since gone away.
Oh, let's see. Well, maybe the use of the playhouse, because when I was a kid, the playhouse was a theater. And I took guitar lessons from Frank Green's, which was a music store here in town. And then every year we got to do a concert and got to perform at the theater. And so maybe opening that up for, because it just, that type of an event would be good. I think of the things I remember, was the volunteer fire department, where the trucks going down the street and everybody, all the people coming. I don't think that'll work anymore. But just keeping, as far as keeping the town, keeping it just safe. Because what I loved about this town was, just riding your bike everywhere. Being able to, and what's really cool, guys, is I go for walks now. And I'm walking past the same houses I used to ride my bike, and they're the same houses. I mean, maybe the landscaping's a little different, maybe a little different paint, but so much of the town just really remains the same. And I think we want to really make sure that the safety issues, that kids can be safe, out on their bikes and playing. Like I said, I got 10-year-old twins. And you just sometimes you just don't feel comfortable them, out on the street riding their bikes, because I was living on Highland and, cars are zipping by. And, I really think we need to do a good job of enforcing speed limits, and let the town, know that that's what we're going to do, that this, safety is important. And if you live here, don't speed, because it's all about the kids.
Mhm.
And then because I think there's a lot of out of town people that come in and come flying down the streets, and there was times where we couldn't even get out of our driveway on Highland. In the morning, people are bringing their kids to the elementary school, and the cars are going by so fast you can't even get a break to get your car out of the driveway.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think one thing that's really important to residents is the 4th of July parade that happens every year. And for a city councilor, they typically will ride in the parade with a vehicle. Could you describe your dream parade vehicle if you're going to be in it next year?
Okay. Yes. My favorite car that I owned in my lifetime, a 1973 orange Volkswagen Campmobile.
Ooh, that's awesome.
With a pop top.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, with the refrigerator. And, that was, it was just a great car. Thing never broke down. And I loved, that kind of driving with the flat steering wheel.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I guess that would be it. But one thing it's interesting. My kids are in horseback riding lessons, and the state up at Altadena Stables, and the very wonderful lady who runs that, she had a very good question. Why don't they allow horses in the parade anymore?
Mm.
Yeah, because the horses, if they did, the people who do it would take care of the cleanup. They'd have people right behind cleaning, kind of like the Rose Parade.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize
But
they
I just wonder why, because that would add a nice little touch to the parade, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Like I definitely remember that being a thing too before. Yeah.
Yeah, recently.
Yeah. So sort of finally, we wanted to ask you about voter outreach to young people, especially during a pandemic when we know that it's definitely extremely difficult to campaign, and sort of about like, what are your thoughts on how best to reach out to young voters in Sierra Madre about a lot of the local issues that don't get as much media coverage?
Oh, great question. Because it's maybe some sort of it might be fun to maybe for the city to it's just so tough with the COVID. What I was thinking is, man, what you could do is have like some sort of event, maybe a little concert, with maybe a local band or something, something where you draw out all the young people, and then have a question and answer session, with the candidates. But to maintain all the social distancing.
Yeah.
That I think as we move ahead in the future, something like that would be, something specifically designed for, with entertainment or something for the young people. I said I like concerts. And then also have it as part of a political thing. What you guys are doing is really cool, and I really thank you for reaching out to me, because your type of what type of access do you have with the youth here in town? Is it just your small group, or have you been able to gain traction in a larger community?
We have sort of like a small group of people that we typically meet with, but I think like Colin and I have both been sort of surprised by how many people our show is able to reach because of social media. So that's definitely been a really awesome thing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's just you guys are funny. Coming from I'm an old Monty Python guy. And,
I love Monty Python.
And so when I see young guys having fun and being silly, that's really cool, because that's what I like, is you got to be able to burn off some of the energy and the creativity.
Yeah.
And what you guys are doing is really, and I like your ties and little dance down the street and everything.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you coming on to the show. It's been awesome to talk with you.
Well, it's been my pleasure. And, feel free if you have any questions, if you go on my website, which please don't laugh, is, at my age, we didn't even have college. I had one computer class, and all I remember is dropping my big stack of cards and getting them all out of order. The punch cards,
Yeah.
And so and all through my career, once as computers started getting going, I was out doing, managing and stuff, and we had a great IT department. So whenever I needed something, I just call up my IT department and they take care of it. So I never learned. I am so technically. My 10-year-old has to help me out on stuff now. And I he tries to get me to play Minecraft, and I'm like, I can't get it. I just don't understand. And so the technology part of it. So anyway, what you guys are doing is really good. But if you go to my website, my phone number's on there. Feel free to call me. If you have any questions, would love to chat with you guys. And I just really appreciate what you're doing here in town.
Thank you so much. It was great to talk to you.
And any other support I could give you in any other way, just let me know.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome speaking with you.
All right, Connor,
Absolutely.
Colin, thank you.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Stop recording.